It's not Alvin Adams. But thank you for playing, Dan in Phoenix. Good to know you're out there. Let's see, who do we have? Who is next? Let's see, time for a clue. This person was a successful power lifter while in high school in Texas. Successful power lifter while in high school in Texas. Play it again.
Who? I didn't hear you.
Play it again.
You got to go to work. There
it is. Successful power lifter while in high school in Texas. It is not what Rob said, something about Brian Fenley or Alvin Adams. Caller 3 is Slim the Trucker, a golden ticket on the line. Hello, Slim the Trucker.
Tim Maller, Eddie Coop, Roberto. Is that legendary Lakers player William Henry Parker, or also known as Smush Parker?
Smush Parker. Is it Smush Parker?
Oh, man.
Sorry. Great guess, though, Slim. Smush Parker, one of my favorite NBA stories he was a big part of. He asked to miss practice when he was with the Cavaliers because he had an appointment with his realtor, and he was looking at real estate. Is that not one of the great stories? Is that not one of the great stories of all time? Smush Parker. Outstanding. All right, caller number 4. That would be Ned in Nebraska. Ned.
Good morning, boys.
Hello. Good morning.
I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. I'm just going to say it's John Stark.
John Starks, a very relevant guess here in 2021. Is it John? No, it's not John Starks. Thank you for playing. Let's see here. Time for another clue. This person set an Iron Bowl record by completing 75% of his passes. Let's try caller 5. Justin in Cincinnati.
Cam Newton, maybe.
Is it Cam Newton? No! Nobody wins. It's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts. I'm not going very far. I'm in a rush. It's too uncomfortable. Sometimes I just forget. Hey, it's Ben Maller. There is no such thing as a good excuse for not buckling up. If you've used any of these excuses, you're putting yourself at risk of injury or even death. But if that's not enough to convince you, consider this. Not buckling up could also cost you lots of money. Law enforcement are writing tickets, so why take the risk? Do the smart thing and start buckling up every trip, day or night. Click it or ticket.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Napa know-how.
Some things just go better together, like a 5-quart jug of Napa full synthetic motor oil and a platinum filter for $26.48. It's like bacon and eggs, hot dogs and mustard, or Joni and Chachi. Ask your dad about it. That's Napa full synthetic and a platinum filter for $26.48. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer ends 6/30/21.
This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts.
It's a smooth ride on I-4 from Deltona to the attractions. Have an accident reported on Tradeport Drive at Orange Avenue, but we're up to speed on the beach line from the coast to Orlando. We look great on the Greenway from San Bernardino County. No hassles on Florida's Turnpike in Central Florida. Things are quiet on the 408 from Colonial Drive to the Turnpike. See traffic problems? Call us SafeTouchSecurity.com traffic tip line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Daisy Ash.
Whether it's offering curbside or next-day delivery for online orders on over 160,000 parts or getting involved in their local communities, when it comes to serving you, Napa's motor never quits. That's Napa know-how.
Now, for a limited time, International Diamond Center's making fine jewelry more affordable than ever with one spectacular offer. 5 years, 0 interest financing store-wide. Yep, a $3,000 pair of diamond stud earrings, just $50 a month. A Tacori designer ring with a 1-carat GIA certified diamond, as low as $150 a month. It's easy, it's smart, it's the best buying opportunity ever. Now, for a limited time, only at International Diamond Center.
Get a $6,000 Veragio designer engagement ring and pay only $100 a month. You can do it now for a limited time at International Diamond Center. It's the return of our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing, and everything's included. Rings, earrings, pendants, all designer brands, even Forevermark and GIA certified diamonds. You get the guaranteed IDC rock bottom price and 0 interest for 5 years. Now for a limited time, only at International Diamond Center. 4 Orlando locations. On approved credit, see store for details.
The mortgage crisis may not have the attention it had before, but many people are still dealing with this every day.
I'm the founder of Operation Hope. My name is John Hope Bryant. Losing your home is unthinkable. Let Operation Hope offer HUD-certified foreclosure prevention professionals to help you negotiate with your lender, apply for a loan modification, or take other steps to avoid foreclosure. Call Operation Hope on our 24-hour-a-day hotline at 888-388-HOPE. That's 888-388-4673. Did you know that creating a realistic budget is one of the first steps out of the foreclosure process? I'm John Hope Bryant, the founder and CEO of Operation Hope. Let one of our HUD-certified counselors walk you through the process of helping you save your home. For 20 years and 2 million customers and clients, we've helped people help themselves. Go to our Mortgage Hope Crisis Hotline, online at operationhope.org, or call one of our counselors at 888-388-HOPE. That's 888-388-4673.
Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us tell you something you do want to hear. You are intelligent. You make all the right decisions. You were smart before smart was cool, and you made it cool again. You have a wealth of knowledge, and you are so very clever. I bet you already knew I was going to say that, you genius. There, don't you feel better? You'll also feel better when you hear you could save big when you switch to Progressive. But I'm pretty sure you already knew that, too. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is...
It's pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just text radio to 64,000 to start learning a new language today. RADIO to 64,000.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Your smart speakers rock when it comes to streaming us. Just say, play 96.9 The Game on iHeartRadio.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2, Cocoa Beach, Orlando. Facebook.com/969 The Game.
Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
All right, it is 6:01 here. You're listening to Open Mic. I am not Mike. I sort of joked on Twitter one time that if Mike's ever not here, we're changing the show's name from Open Mic to Up and Adam.
Up and Adam.
Get it?
With Adam Ridden.
There we go.
Wow.
Mike Bianchi's on a little bit of a vacation.
It's a little bit.
But he's one of those guys. You know, he is definitely the work smarter, or excuse me, he's the work harder, not smarter guy.
Right.
Because even on vacation, he's still a part of Open Mic. He'll be with us coming up at 7:45. Loves to check in. He knows that you folks out there are going to miss him. He wants to make sure that that he leaves the show in capable hands. So he's going to check in on us.
That's right. He's on special. What does he call it?
Special assignment.
Assignment in New York City, the big city.
I guess it's only special assignment if we don't talk about it before somebody goes.
I know.
I've been known to say, hey, I'm taking a little bit of a 3-day vacation here this week. But he doesn't know, should I say where he's going?
He's like, well, I'm gone now.
But he said he said his daughter's graduating college, right? So
yes,
obviously, congratulations. It's graduation season, by the way. I did a couple of graduation events this weekend, for my fiance's oldest daughter, 8th grade graduation.
Ooh.
Okay, can I do spontaneous text question of the day?
We can do it already.
Already? I mean, because it just came up. I had a discussion earlier in the week too. What graduations should we be celebrating with party? And
8th grade counts. I see where you're going there.
Does it really? like, was there any risk that these kids weren't going to make it past 8th grade?
But you know what? What I've seen in Florida, at least to my understanding, you have elementary school and then you have middle school. Like those are two separate things,
graduation,
right?
you see them. Yeah, I mean, you see the kids in the kindergarten. They get the cap and gown, and so like, was there any risk that kid wasn't going to graduate kindergarten?
Listen, you have to celebrate your wins. You have to celebrate your wins.
Oh my gosh! My favorite part was my fiance's daughters both go to a private school, and they've been there from the beginning, right? From their first years of schooling through 8th grade, which is high as it goes.
Right.
And there was a special award they gave away at the end for kids that had been there all 9 years. And she walks up to me afterwards and she goes, "Yeah, I got this award. It's a participation award. Literally, participation, because I've been here all those years."
And you're like, congratulations. I'm so proud of you for being here for 9 years straight.
So Mike's up there in New York City with his daughter and enjoying her graduation. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to him. But
it's beautiful.
This isn't like when this is sort of like the divorce, because I remember I was here with Mike when the alimony payments stopped, and what a great day that was. I don't know when the student loan payments stop on the New York Fashion Institute.
Mike.
It's not gonna stop. It probably never stopped. There's no question about that. So he'll join us coming up at 7:45. I am Adam Reardon inside the studios here. Kelly Velez. Let me say, what are we calling you again? The smooth operator. I needed that.
Come on, baby.
I was such a huge fan of chairman of the board that I had already locked my brain into it. But you are the smooth operator, Kelly Velez. On the other side of the glass, pushing all the right buttons. You're listening to Open Mic today, 96.9 The Game. You can listen to us on the AM dial at 740 as well. If you are computer savvy, you're locked into your cubicle already this morning, 969thegame.com. You can listen live there. If you are really tech savvy and you're into that OK Google, Alexa type thing, just say, "Hey, I want to listen to 96.9 The Game," and you can listen to us there. If you are interested in seeing what we look like as well as hearing what we sound like, you can do that by checking out YouTube. The Open Mic live stream is up there and ready for you. You can find that on Twitter and Facebook as well. So I guess we'll get into the world of sports from last night and then this extended Memorial Day weekend. We will start last night from the world of the NBA, where the Washington Wizards staved off elimination. Woo! They knocked off the Philadelphia 76ers last night, 122-114.
Loose ball after Harris, but the loose ball, Westbrook gets it. Ahead to Hachimura, hang on, slam, two ends, Rui Hachimura the slam.
Hachimura looked at him afterwards like this, oh.
Yeah, what do you have? 20 last night, right?
Yeah.
He had 20. Westbrook went for 19, 21, and 14.
Video game numbers. Video game Russ.
It's like playing NBA Jam way back in the day.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what he does. Bradley Beal, I guess, chipped in with 27.
Quote, unquote.
Chipped in. He had an off night. Only scored 27 in the NBA playoffs for Bradley Beal last night. Important number for the Washington Wizards last night. Everybody, all their starters, in double figures last night. So everybody a contributor. I guess maybe the biggest, couple of takeaways from this game. We're going to get into fan interaction coming up a little bit later on the show. But if you're a Philadelphia 76er fan, the big concern for you right now is Joel Embiid goes down with an injury. He's got an MRI scheduled for today, questionable for Game 5, which comes up tomorrow. So for the 76ers, you lose Embiid. Yeah, you could probably close out this series, but your chances to make that run deep into the NBA playoffs and really cash in on the process, if you will, am I going too far as to say that you can go ahead and forget about that now, right? I mean, Embiid's probably going to be the MVP of the league, or should be the MVP of the league.
He should be, okay? He's a huge part of the reason why they are here, why they are, in my opinion, other than the Nets, of course. Everybody wants to talk about the Nets, but they forget how incredible the 76ers are now. If he's not there, that centerpiece, I feel like him not being in the middle, he's not going to be aggressive. That's going to draw all the attention away to the shooters. Nobody's going to be able to get open. It's going to be, limited ball movement since he's not there being the anchor. And I'm not going to lie to you, 76ers fans, you might want to blame me because I think
What, you jinx him?
Because remember you and I were texting yesterday about what we can talk about this morning. I was like, hey, when they get swept, we can just have this conversation. And Embiid literally went down probably 20 minutes after that. I was going to text you. I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to.
You Twitter voodoo dolled him.
So 76ers fans, I'm sorry.
It's Kelly Velez's fault. So say something really bad about him so he can bounce back and get back in the game here for game number 5.
Yeah, give me a goofball. Let's do game balls and goofballs randomly right now. I get a goofball.
All right, another 3-1 lead in the NBA playoffs. This time it's the Jazz who take the 3-1 lead over the Memphis Grizzlies as they win 120-113.
Grayson all over Donovan. He works off a Gobert pick. He fires the 3, hits! Oh, and Donovan's popping up and down with excitement on the other way. Going back, he's just hopping. He's got strings attached to him from the sky. He's so excited.
Great call.
You like that? Strings attached to him from the
like
sky?
Like a puppet?
Oh, like a marionette puppet? He went for 30 points, 8 assists as well, so he's not a ball hog. Guy can score, no question about it. The quietly good, aren't they?
Just zipper.
Like you don't even think about
business.
You don't even think about the Jazz. We start talking about teams in the West, and we're the Lakers, the Clippers, and like, oh wait, the Jazz are really good too.
Yeah,
the Nuggets. We even talk about the Nuggets.
When Donovan's in there, man, listen, there's very few that can do what he does.
I will say this about the NBA playoffs and kind of if you're just watching the big names and maybe you kind of sleep on this series a little bit, obviously Donovan Mitchell is a great player, great scorer in the league. Ja Morant is going to be fun to watch in the future. I mean, you always have to say this with athletes, but barring injury, dude, he is going to be fun to watch, and what a great leader for that team right now. Ja Morant, he went for 23 points, 12 assists last night, so definitely a future star in the league. The big difference in this game and in this NBA, in this day and age right now, is that if one team shoots 50% from the three-point line, like the Jazz did last night, and the other team shoots 25% or 26%, like the Grizz did last night, the team who shoots 50% from the three-point line is going to win 99% of games nowadays in the NBA.
Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, points matter in this league. And when you can get 3 for the price of 2 more often than the other team, you're probably going to win that game.
That's what I was going to say. Even though you may have some, playmakers that can get the ball moving, score on the inside, if you have someone torching you from 3, man, that's what the Warriors have been so good for so long, especially when Clay is there, because they just rain it on you. They could be down 4, and then they're up 8 within 2 minutes.
You said 4. My mind was like going back to times where they're down by 12, and then like you go to the fridge and you come back and wait, they're up 3? How'd that happen? These two guys got real hot.
Just let it fly.
All right, let's turn our attention to Major League Baseball, where the Tampa Bay Rays take Game 1 of their series against the New York Yankees.
Austin Meadows swings at the first pitch, sends it deep down the right field line towards the corner at the wall, and it's gone into the front row in the home run porch. At New Yankee Stadium, a homer for Meadows. It's 2-0 Rays.
Guy didn't sound excited. Austin Meadows, that's his 12th home run of the year, by the way. So Mike's Tampa Bay Rays get a big win, 2-1 over Kelly Velez's beloved New York Yankees. By the way, Rich Hill, 5 shutout innings for the Rays on the bump there.
See? All this conversation about, no offense.
Well, I mean, you don't need a lot of offense if you're getting 5 shutout innings from your starter there. They win the game 2-1. By the way, the Rays now 35-20 on the year, and the Yankees 29-25. How about over the weekend, Orlando City? Speaking of losses for our teams, Orlando City suffered their first loss of the year, 2-1 at the New York Red Bulls.
Smith on the far side, ball into the box, gets it to Tesho. Tesho to Vondervater. Vondervater! Goal, Vondervater! Splash down, Vondervater!
Splash down, Scott.
Splash down, Vondervater. I see what you did there.
Splash down.
Vondervater there comes on as a substitution late in the game, I think like the 60th minute or somewhat, has an immediate impact on the game. They were down 2-0 at the time of his arrival into the game, changes the game, gets a goal back, had another opportunity to potentially tie that game up, but they fall short. 2-1, their first loss of the season. Don't hit the panic button because of one loss. What I will say is what Vondervater is giving you numbers-wise is certainly a welcome sight, considering a guy that I think most people thought coming into the year was going to be a major contributor, Chris Mueller, I mean, has yet to really show up as far as what Orlando City fans were hoping and or expecting from him this year. So having the arrival of Vondervater, getting the goals from him that we've gotten, getting the impact that we've gotten from him here over the last couple of games, say, listen, if we're not going to get it from Mueller, in the box score, we're getting it from somewhere. And so if I'm looking for the silver lining in the 2-1 loss, it's, hey, look at this guy. Every time he comes on the field, good things happen. That's good for the franchise.
That's it. You bring the energy off. Like you said, they were down 2-0. You come and get that goal, have another opportunity. As you said, it's all about that, man. As long as you can create opportunities up and down the field, what else can you ask for, man?
Let's see if they can get off the schneid the next one. Let's finally wrap up with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They take a 1-0 lead in their series over the Carolina Hurricanes.
Here's Goodrow to the left circle. Shooting score! Barkley Goodrow! The Lightning go up 2-1 with 7:21 left.
Barkley Goodrow with the game winner there. Vasilevsky, by the way, with 37 saves in that game.
37?
37.
Sweet Lord.
That's good. That just means that the other team shot the puck 38 times. Got to stop them from shooting the puck. But if you got a guy in goal, and we saw him in their wrap-up game against the Panthers, and then you see the way he's carried it over now against the Hurricanes, listen, I mean, that's a team right there that can score the puck, too. And so if they're getting a guy in the net that's only allowing one or no goals in a game, then you got to really like the Lightning's chance as they move on to the playoffs. Those are just a couple of things that happened over the weekend in the world of sports. Coming up on the other side of the break, we're going to discuss LeBron James was in the shop, and he didn't have very nice things to say about the city of Orlando or the Orlando Magic franchise. Should we be mad at LeBron for saying the things he said? We will discuss coming up next. You're listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
Open Mic, the best radio show in town. Isn't that right, Urban Meyer?
I think your facts are not
620 back on Open Mic. Adam Reardon, Kelly Velez with you as Mike Bianchi is on vacation, sort of. He'll be around.
He's here. He's here in spirit, and soon he'll be here for real.
7:45. He will join us here on the show. Interesting weekend. I was just sort of perusing the intrawebs, and a video clip pops up about LeBron James in the shop, right? That's the name of the show?
Yeah.
Is it still on HBO?
Yes, still on HBO. Him and Mav Carter getting different, luminaries from the culture. Was it like every month, something like that?
Yeah.
Usually have a different episode.
And I mean, normally has other athletes on, other guests on, and they just shoot the breeze like you would in a barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, some way, I guess the idea or the thought of ending up in Orlando as a free agent I don't know who brought it up.
What happened was that they also had Bad Bunny on there, and Bad Bunny he had this big thing with WWE since like January, I believe. He's been kind of like a contracted wrestler, and he even did WrestleMania, did all that. So they started discussing the process of doing that, and he's like, "Yeah, I moved from Puerto Rico to Orlando for however many long. I was training with them for this long, and as soon as he said Orlando, that's when
LeBron gave his thoughts on Orlando. So for those of you who haven't heard or LeBron James's feelings or his thoughts on Orlando as potentially a place that he would have ever ended up as an NBA free agent, here you go.
He moved to Orlando. Put his career. I don't want to visit Orlando.
No.
He moved there.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason I haven't taken my daughter to Disney World, because I had to go to you guys understand. Anytime I hear Orlando right now, I get PTSD. I was in a bubble.
So Orlando has no chance of free agency?
They have no chance.
Jeez. What if you get traded to Orlando?
I'm not going.
I'm just retiring. It's over.
It's over. Yeah, LeBron has been traded to Orlando. LeBron lives in Malibu. He's not going.
Ouch.
He's not coming over here, man. He said free agency, nobody wants to come over here after that bubble.
So when you listen to that, here's my question. Is that more about the city of Orlando, or is it more because LeBron probably thinks about the Orlando? Is that city or franchise hating?
To me, it feels like more tongue-in-cheek because they were in the bubble for so long away from their families, and they experienced a very small part of Orlando that they were stuck here for so long that he does not want to come back. According to him, nobody wants to come to Orlando now because of that experience.
Well, you can understand why people around here would be super sensitive about that, because every superstar player who's ever been drafted here has basically couldn't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait, especially get to L.A., to where they could become a world superstar, at least in their mind. I was thinking about this after I heard that, and I thought, man, boy, that's pretty harsh on Orlando. Because I'll be honest. Now, granted, I moved here from Ocala, so
hello.
It does. It feels like I've moved up in the world, And I love the area. I think there's just so much here for adults, young adults, kids. I think there's just something for everybody. Something for almost everybody.
Right.
There are some things it lacks, but name a place that doesn't lack something. I wonder if guys like LeBron, guys like Shaq, Dwight Howard probably thought he was in that caliber of person. And so for him as well, that thinks, listen, I can be a star in Orlando. Listen, this is sports in the United States of America. If you're good, if you're Giannis, you could be a star in Milwaukee, okay? No disrespect, Milwaukee. But can you be a world superstar without being in New York City or Los Angeles, Chicago, one of these major hustle and bustle, business-driven cities in the United States? Can you become a world figure by not being in those places in the NBA? Because listen, Dirk Nowitzki is and was a great player. And he even had I'm European, so I've got the European market dominated. If Dirk Nowitzki was, just Derek Norris.
Derek Norris.
Yeah, if he wasn't Dirk Nowitzki, the German superstar who already, people in Europe, if he was just Derek Norris from Creighton, and he was in Dallas, and Dallas is a great city as well, but it just doesn't have that feel like on the coast. I mean, even when LeBron did the whole I'm taking my talents, Miami has that feel.
Yeah.
Like Miami just has that. And Orlando's missing that. I think you could be a star in Orlando, no question about it. You can be a star in this country playing sports in Orlando. But if your goal is bigger than that, if your goal is to make a worldwide brand, it just doesn't feel like Orlando's the place that you can do it, or at least that's the perception amongst athletes.
Well, so far, because you think about it, it hasn't really been done yet. But since all these superstars that we've mentioned, have come and gone, Orlando has grown exponentially. There's so many different things to do here, not even for like families and everything. Just overall as a city, man, there's a lot of talents and people out here, a lot of great resources, and it's a great place for somebody to sit down, build from the grassroots up. But right now, we just haven't had that superstar to get here. And when you hear LeBron saying that, even though, in my opinion, it may be a little tongue-in-cheek, once he says that, you're condemning Orlando, which is why I understand like what you're saying and everybody else when they hear someone like that say that. Because now it's like, oh, LeBron don't want to go to Orlando. Why would I? Nobody's going to do their due diligence to see exactly what the city has to offer now,
Well, and let me ask this, because an NBA free agent, normally getting out of his first contract into his second contract, right? So we're talking about probably 18, 19 years of age. So now you fast forward 3 to 5 years. So you're in like your early 20s. I can see why Los Angeles, New York, Miami, for somebody in their early 20s with a lot of money to spend, why those would be destination spots versus Orlando, which is a great family destination. But in your early 20s, you may not have a full-on family at that point. You know what I mean? It's not. I think Orlando's a great place to come on your last contract when your kids are probably like.
The first contract, Adam. What are you talking about?
Listen, we've seen this before. The first contract, Shaq. All the guys that have been here in the past that were world superstars or thought they were. Dwight Howard, couldn't wait to go because they thought they could go somewhere else. I think Orlando's a good spot. But when LeBron says stuff like this, and again, I think that you're right. As I listened to it a second time and then put into context the fact that he was stuck here, and I mean that in the kindest way possible, but he was literally stuck here. There's a point where you go, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back there. And he does live in Malibu, so the idea of him being traded to Orlando, listen, plenty of nice houses. Tiger Woods lived here, okay?
I can't imagine going from like Nobu's and all that in Malibu to Orlando. We got Roof Chris here,
Yeah.
Some good steak.
I think there's a cheesecake factory in town. A couple of those, as a matter of fact. Hey, coming up on the other side of the break, I want to talk a little bit about Naomi Osaka, who withdrew from the French Open. She had discussed not wanting to talk to the media because of mental health reasons, and she just was kind of having some issues, and then she was fined and then apparently threatened with being disqualified from the event if she didn't participate in some of these interviews. And so instead she decided to walk away. We'll talk about her individual case and kind of maybe look a little bit deeper at the way we treat athletes and whether or not we value their mental health, because we only see them on TV. We don't get up close and personal with them. Is that something we should be discussing a little further? And what is their responsibility to talk to the media? Should there be any? We'll do all that coming up next. You're listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
Open Mic, the best radio show in
player that was able to play okay. I'm so sad right now.
That was Naomi Osaka back in 2018.
History repeats itself, man.
Well, it's interesting because I saw her comments, and for those that aren't or weren't following the story, Naomi Osaka, one of the best tennis players in the world, said before the French Open she wasn't going to speak to the media and that she would gladly pay the fines in hopes that the fines go to fund research or help with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And, I thought that was where the story ends. And I got a great deal of respect for somebody who says, listen, I'm going to go ahead and pay the fines, and then, you do with the money. I just don't. Remember Marshawn Lynch, who had to show up just so he wouldn't get fined at the Super Bowl? I'm just here so I don't get fined. And that's how he would answer every question. So it basically made a mockery of the interview process anyway. So why even bother making the guy, or in this case, the girl, go?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get into that in a second. But you can hear in that if you're a parent, to me, forget about being a parent. If you're just a human being, that was way more than somebody who lost a tennis match.
Mm-hmm.
That was somebody who had some hurt on the inside, some issues that they're trying to navigate and go through, but they got somebody with a microphone in their face that they have to talk to. You ever not wanted to talk to anybody?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, listen, just being a regular person.
Yeah.
Going out there. I can't imagine, number one, you're performing what you want to do at the highest level possible, right? And then on top of that, you're dealing with all the other stuff we all go through, family issues, personal, who knows, health-wise. And now you have to compartmentalize all that, save face to speak to reporters and things of that nature for however long that process is.
So she said she was going to pay the fine, and to me, I thought the story was over from there until I get online yesterday and I see, wait, she pulled out of the event because she was being threatened by not just the French Open, but all the Grand Slam events, that if you do that, you risk further stiffer penalties, including disqualification from these Grand Slam tournaments if you don't adhere to the media obligations of the athlete. And this is somebody who's clearly going through something. And so there's part of me that, again, great respect for her to say, okay, listen, this is not what I want to do, so I'm going to step away. I'm going to step away from my chance to add another Grand Slam title to my name because I just don't feel like I want to talk to the media at this time.
Right.
To me, shame on these events for basically threatening her with, hey, we're going to kick you out if you don't talk to the media.
Yeah, that's weird to me. It's an antiquated way that we do sports, because I'm sure there's a myriad of different sports athletes that feel the same way, and it's not because they don't want to talk to the media. It's because, as Naomi's going through, sometimes you go through things, man, and it's very taxing in order to just sit there while you're going through something and just discuss something other than what's on your mind,
Well, and then I would love to get Mike's opinion. Obviously, Mike's opinion and ours, I think, are maybe differ here because he's in the business of trying to get quotes from somebody.
Right.
But you can't tell me that it'd be impossible for Mike Bianchi to write a story about the Magic game last night, should there have been one, without getting a quote from Vooch.
Right.
Getting that one quote from you. You can't write a story without getting like a 2-line answer from Vooch.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and to me, the same applies here when you're talking about Naomi Osaka. You can't write about her match without getting words from her. Of course you can. Of course you can.
Well, what's weird to me about that situation is that not only did she let people know beforehand that she didn't want to do it, she'll pay the fines, and as you said, as long as it goes to,
she hoped
the benefits
that it would.
of mental health, right? And then they just back up behind it like, no, it doesn't matter what you want to do with this, okay?
Yeah.
No, you either go or you don't. And she's like, fine, I'm out. Until we can figure out a better way for us to do this for the mental sake of the athletes, I'm not going to do it.
I think that we're guilty of going, they make so much money, they should be able to answer all these questions. Well, what's the big deal? You don't know what somebody's going through. And so, like, to just assume you do or that they should be jumping through the hoops that you want. Here's the bigger question for me, and we'd love to get your thoughts on it. You can either give us a call, 407-916-8255, or always you can text message. You can shoot us a text message at 50857. Should athletes be obligated to speak to the media as, quote, part of the job?
Mm-hmm. And also, we have a Twitter poll on it as well. If you want to go to 96.9 The Game, we have a whole bunch of polls on there for you to vote on, including this one, which is exactly that, man. No, it shouldn't be a part of like the job policy.
No.
In some way, there should be. If you have the proper documentation or something like that. For instance, she's saying she's depressed. If they see something like that, then you don't have to actually go through these conferences.
Here's the thing: she has to play tennis, right, to win the Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to give Mike Bianchi a quote for him to write his story.
Correct.
And the fact that the athletes are sort of required to speak to these to report. Listen, there's plenty of people there willing to speak. Okay, so the small minority, or maybe it's a vast majority who don't feel like speaking. I don't think they should be forced to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they should be forced to speak at all. There's going to be plenty. You'll be able to get a quote, the kind of quote you're looking for to put a nice, pretty bow on your story from somebody there. It doesn't have to be somebody who's dealing with some issues who doesn't want to talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, shame on tennis for threatening an athlete with disqualification if they don't speak to the media.
But you know what? I feel like the silver spoon in that is that maybe this is the first one that'll actually change the tide with this sort of situation, So we'll see.
Fingers crossed, at least as far as that is concerned. Coming up on the other side of the break, the NBA, the gift that keeps on giving. Do you remember the old videos, Girls Gone Wild? Do you remember those when they used to sell those? Well, the NBA is going to have a new video called Fans Gone Wild. Woo! They keep going this weekend. We'll tell you who is the latest participant in Fans Gone Wild. Coming up next, you are listening to Open Mic right here.
Hey, this
We have seen issues around the NBA with fans crossing the line. Somebody tossed a water bottle, and it nearly hit Kyrie as he was walking to the tunnel. Tyler Johnson noticed it, and the Nets began to point out who it was in that section. There are cameras everywhere, so you're going to see the toss right there. It just misses Kyrie. This is as the Nets were exiting. Kevin Durant was doing the interview with Michael Grady, and security began to converge and look for the guilty party.
Oh, you know the steel drums.
Man, this feels like this past weekend, actually. This was my mood the whole weekend.
Oh, was it?
We went to
Nice.
Daytona.
This music reminds me of those Girls Gone Wild videos. You'd be up at like 2 a.m. watching TV shows like Girls Gone Wild on spring break. We don't have Girls Gone Wild. We got Fans Gone Wild.
Fans Gone Wild.
In the NBA. Order Volume 1, where you've gotten Popcorn Guy. Volume 2 is Racial Insult Guy. We've had Water Bottle Guy. Who am I missing? Order now. We'll throw in the bonus. Who am I missing? I know there's somebody else. The Storm the Court guy from last night.
Touch the backboard guy.
Yeah, if you order now, we'll throw in last night. Storm the Court, get tackled by security guy. It's NBA Fans Gone Wild.
By the way, very good form on that tackle, sir, whoever you are.
Good job, security. Where was that game being played at last night? That was in...
it wasn't Washington, no?
It was, yeah. Yeah, maybe the Washington football team. Hey, there's a guy. If Tebow can play tight end, that guy can play linebacker. Hold on,
wrapped them up pretty good.
Let's get this guy in here for tryout. All right, so I'm poking a little bit of fun, but at a very serious subject, which is fans are like gone wild. It's not even like the proper phrase. They're losing their mind. They're doing really dumb stuff now. And Mike talked to him. Remember, it was like early in the week. Mike's like, nobody's throwing racial insults around in 2000. No. They are. Not only are they throwing that around, they're throwing water bottles, popcorn. Remember the guy who's like, it's only popcorn. It's not a big deal. It's just popcorn. Now it's a water bottle. Then it's a guy storming out onto the court, in a way that looks threatening or menacing.
Right.
And again, because there was a discussion a couple weeks ago after the PGA Championship. Fans shouldn't be on the course. Please don't lump in the guys that were surrounding Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka to share in this great moment with idiots who are throwing projectiles and or storming the court in the middle of the game to be, to interrupt the game.
Yeah.
When those fans gathered around Mickelson, it wasn't like they ran up to him as he was in his backswing, okay? So two totally different things. Two totally different things. So don't lump them together, because I think one has a place in sports, then the other one doesn't. What we're seeing in the NBA right now doesn't have a place in sports.
Yeah, I agree. And you can vote on this on our Twitter at 96.9 The Game, with another incident involving an NBA fan occurring last night during the Wizards and 76ers game. Has the unruly behavior of fans at sporting events reached an all-time high? You can vote on that once again at 96.9 The Game. And I'm going to say absolutely, man. I feel like this is the first time I've seen in my adult life this many situations. And this is just the NBA. This isn't like MLB. Like, it's all a string of events during the playoffs. I've never seen this before. Unruly fans going crazy. Like, what has been 5 instances you just said? Five volumes of fans gone wild?
Yeah, fans gone wild. Order now. Shipping and handling, taxes and applicable fees apply. What's interesting to me is sort of counterintuitive, too, because you think, we discuss this a lot, there's a camera everywhere. Everybody's phone is a camera now. So there was a day where I think you could probably do something stupid and then get away with it.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was a time where you could run out onto a baseball field, and then if you could get back into the crowd and then get, like, nobody would know. Like, remember that guy who ran out on the field? Oh, yeah, it's crazy. It was one. With all the cameras and the facial recognition, I mean, look what happened in the Capitol building. Yep. I mean, listen, if you are on film doing something, if you are on somebody's phone doing something, you're caught. That's it. Nowadays, there's no escaping that. And fans continue to do stupid things in these arenas that have hundreds of cameras.
Yeah.
Now, that's not counting the guy who's holding the camera right next to you as you're hey, watch this. And the guy goes, okay, I'll watch it. Matter of fact, I'll put it on my Snap.
But you know what? I was thinking about that the other day. I think that has a lot to do with people's decisions to actually do it now because they know what the ramifications can be. But in that moment, they're like, oh, they're going to be talking about me. I'm going to get on social media. Or I've seen before where it was, I forget which instance it was, that somebody actually put a bet down like, hey, how much you want to bet that I'll go boom, boom, do all this? And he did it, and he got paid for it. So I'm sure, and they're all bros, by the way. You can tell, like, the type of person that does these things. Each and every one of them are just like a college bro. The guy who ran on the court last night, he had, like, a bottle of beer and a weed leaf on his shirt. Like, that's the design on his shirt. I'm like, oh, these are the bros coming out trying to, like, be cool. It's not cool.
To me, like, I'm trying to think of what age I was when the long-term ramifications would outweigh the viral notoriety that I would get from a poor decision. You know, like, in a much smaller scale. You ever do something stupid that you think would make girls laugh when you're younger, you know, like impress girls? And you start kind of like you're weighing it out in your head. You're like on spring break and you've got like a third floor, a hotel room, and you're going to dive from that balcony into the pool and you think the chicks will really dig it. Like at that age, I'm trying to think, what age would I go like, these girls ain't worth a potential broken leg. That's probably,
it
probably
depends.
pretty young.
Like 20?
I'm trying to think. Well, to me, it's like, you know, at what point do I go, hey, going viral would be cool. Spending the night in jail and possibly losing my job, not so cool. Listen, I'm going to choose. I had to think about how old I was in 2000. Miami was playing against Florida State. Hadn't beaten Florida State in 7 years. It was the year 2000. Miami drives down the field. Jeremy Shockey catches what at that moment looks like the game-winning touchdown. Florida State comes right back down the field. They have a field goal to tie it, and they miss. It's wide right 3. It's down in the Orange Bowl. Me and my brother are there. The place is going nuts. Oh, my God. People are passed out because it's 145 degrees. It's October 7th, 2000. I remember it like it was yesterday. And fans start running onto the field, right? And I look at my brother. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Then we're going to go on to the field of the Orange Bowl. I'm probably going to grab a piece of, the end zone and stuff it in my pocket or something like that. And we get right to the edge. And people are like piling over to the left, to the right, piling over. And this cop is like standing right there. And he looks dead in my face and he goes, don't do it. And when he said don't do it, like there's a part of me is like, well, all these other people are doing it.
Don't tell me you didn't do it.
I didn't do it. No way. No, that was a decision I made to say, hey, listen, I'm at this age now. I got a job. I got an apartment I got to pay rent for. I don't feel like being locked up down in Miami where somebody's got to come bail me out. I made that decision and said, listen, doing something just to do it, like, and to tell people
to
the
go
story,
with the crowd,
wasn't worth the potential to me of getting in trouble.
Right.
I think maybe October 7th, 2000 is the day I grew up. I think I may be able to trace every positive decision I've ever made in the face of negative decisions back to October 7th of 2000, down there in the Orange Bowl in the West End zone. May it rest in peace.
It just all went up from there, huh?
It was.
See, and keep in mind, in that situation, you were with other people. These guys are doing it by themselves. So I can't imagine the amount of goal that they have and confidence. Like, no, I'm going to throw this water bottle at Kyrie as soon as he walks by me. Huh? What are we talking about?
It's unbelievable. Let's take a 10-second pause for some legal identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. Listen live on iHeartRadio. Now. No, seriously, do it now.
You've got thoughts on anything we've discussed so far in the show, or maybe you've got some thoughts of your own over something that happened over the long extended weekend, you can shoot us a text. 50857 is the number there. I want to touch on this one subject real quickly. The Jacksonville Jaguars, who have done a really good job. Why weren't they Hard Knocks? I mean, maybe Hard Knocks has a rule. I don't know. I think they could have been like the NFL, because they are front and center. They are front and center. It feels like every week we've had the issue with the strength and conditioning guy, which turned around quickly. They have the number 1 pick in the draft. Obviously, the Tebow discussion. And all of that has been sort of circus atmosphere, right? I feel like we've been at the 3-ring circus. You know,
ETN switching over.
Yeah, we've done the ATNs. We're going to try him at wide receiver. But I'm drawing the line here, okay? Listen, Jags fans, okay? I'm drawing the line here. Apparently, there's a wrestling outfit. What is this? The AEW?
AEW. All Elite Wrestling, yes.
Are you a wrestling guy? Because
I used to. I grew up on wrestling. I fell out of it. I'll watch every now and again. I wouldn't consider myself a wrestling guy, but I do appreciate
because you know
a little
there's
bit
a
of
lot
wrestling.
of wrestling guys around here.
Oh yeah, it's like compared to like Kravitz. Yeah, no, I'm not to that level.
Well, Austin, the guy who sat in your seat, he was such a wrestling guy. He actually like in the Midwest used to like be the ring announcer guy.
Yes, this is correct.
And at one point
he goes above and beyond your regular wrestling fan.
Okay, so I was a wrestling guy too, but more like a wrestling kid because I was 12. Okay, I was 12, and then I cannot tell a lie. Like when The Rock was coming up, I did think that he was. I thought he was hilarious.
The Rock was the man.
Yeah, he was hilarious, but I don't watch anymore. But apparently, the Jacksonville Jaguars are now. They've just gone from a 3-ring circus to now we're delving into the freak show atmosphere because apparently Chris Jericho and the AEW folks burst into the Jaguars facility where Coach Charlie Strong and Urban Meyer were willing to lend a helping hand to Chris Jericho to thwart the I don't know.
I forget who he was going against.
The negative advance. I don't even know who the other guy was. But take a listen. Here's what was going on in Jacksonville. Instead of getting prepared for the NFL season, this is what they're doing in Jacksonville now.
If it wants to play on him, so you put bad juju on us.
Here it goes. Is that the laptop? What is that?
That's the laptop right there. Holy. And that's Urban Meyer. He said, holy. So they burst in. So to my knowledge, they're having like a regular match. They go backstage. Out of nowhere, they burst into this dressing room.
Wait,
There's
the Jacksonville Jaguars practice facilities are located in a wrestling arena or something?
No, they were having it there. They burst in. They're at the whiteboard. You have Urban on one side, Strong on the other, and they look back like, whoa! Chris Jericho throws the dude into the wall. Strong throws him an actual football. Chris Jericho beams him with it. Then he picks up, what was that Microsoft Surface? And I don't know if you can hear it in the clip. He goes, oh, nice place. Bam! It just hits the dude in the back. And then, of course, Urban Meyer at the end. Holy, woo!
All right,
but do you know? But do you know why though?
No,
do you understand why this is going on?
No idea why this is happening.
All right, and to my knowledge, even though we could Google this, but all of you out there very good at letting me know when I'm wrong. You do that. I believe one of the owners of the Jags.
Let's all get married because that's what wives are really good at, telling us when we're wrong. Okay,
that's why we need you, ladies. Yes. But I believe one of the owners from the Jags owns AEW.
Oh,
it's one of the cons.
Exactly it.
It's one of the cons.
Oh my god. Okay,
yeah.
so you're correct. And I honestly, I didn't even like. I thought maybe they're having a wrestling show in Jacksonville that day, and they're like, "Hey, Urban, you want to promote your
little cross promotion there?"
This is what we're doing now.
Yeah. You gotta have Chris Jericho hiking the ball.
You know what I'm most afraid of is if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar season ticket holder, and now the wrestling crowd goes, "You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get me some Jaguar season ticket." I don't want to sit next to that guy.
Like, what is going on in here?
Guy's got nacho stains on his shirt. I don't want to be next to that guy.
And we do have a poll on this as well at 96.9 The Game on Twitter, man. If you're a Jags fan, does their involvement with the wrestling organization AEW make you more excited for the season? Does it make you cringe? Or does it matter to you?
All right. I guess now, no, it sort of makes sense now. There's a guy like, well, you are on our payroll. You're on my dad's payroll. Will you please come promote my event? What is this, like the movie The Toy or something?
The Toy? Yeah. What happened in there? I'm out on that.
You never seen the movie The Toy?
I've never seen The Toy.
Oh, my God.
See, I'm not one of those to go along with it. Yeah, I remember The Toy.
No. The Toy is like, is it Jackie Gleason? Maybe it's not Jackie Gleason. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy but it was Richard Pryor. So basically, it's a rich guy who has a son, right? And the son wants Richard Pryor to be his toy. So they basically hire Richard Pryor to do everything the kid says, you know? So all of a sudden now, is it Jackie Gleason?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Jackie Gleason.
Okay.
Yep.
So maybe Urban Meyer is Shad Khan's gift to, I think it's Tony Khan.
Tony Khan, yeah.
Urban Meyer is now Tony Khan's toy. My dad hired you to do our wrestling show. You're going to do the wrestling show.
Listen, man, if I'm a Jags fan, right, I don't know. It depends on which side of the fence you are, right? Because on one time,
Charlie Strong throwing him the football. Here, take this.
Beams it at him. On one side, you could be like, you know what? It's the circus. It's a continuation of the circus. Can we just get down to basics, to the business of football? Can we focus on the season? Or you could be like, yo, there's more eyeballs on the product. Jacksonville hasn't been in the headlines for this long, for God knows how long. And you're getting multiple people to see exactly what's going on. You have Urban showing a little bit of, personality, trying to get people to love him. I don't think it's going to work. But
listen, wrestling's right up his alley. All those fake narratives.
We've been saying all these weeks that this is just like wrestling, and that's See?
Yeah, listen,
it all makes sense now.
I get it now. But I'm like, what is going on here? I mean, these guys can't stand to not be in the center of attention. Just put them on NFL Hard Knocks, will you? That's what I really want to see. Now I really want to see them on Hard Knocks.
Listen, we mentioned Bad Bunny earlier being on the shop. Like, he actually wrestled for WWE for a number of months. I'm surprised they didn't have Urban get in and get a couple shots on the guy.
That's got to be lucrative. Like wrestling, WWE must be able to pay, because I remember Floyd Mayweather did, and Floyd doesn't do anything without money. Matter of fact, Floyd's fighting, is that this weekend? That's this weekend.
Already?
Yeah, because it's the 1st. Today's the 1st. He fights on Sunday.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Flies.
He fights on Sunday. And he said his comments, by the way, about fighting Logan Paul, he says is the closest thing to legalized bank robbery. He goes, why wouldn't I fight this guy? Basically, I'm going to get paid a lot of money to really do no work.
Did he sign another contract too, Logan Paul?
No, that's Jake Paul. Jake Paul's actually going to be boxing against Tyrone Woodley, who's a former UFC welterweight champ. You're shaking your head. Now, are you shaking your head because you've seen Tyrone Woodley fight in the UFC and you say he's going to now Jake Paul?
Well, he's a striker, right? Wasn't Woodley a striker?
He's a wrestler. He's a wrestler who can strike. I mean, all these guys. I mean, when they're wearing 4-ounce gloves, you hit somebody on the side of the head.
But he lost like his last couple fights.
3 fights. Right? Yeah. Let me say this: that you're going to look at Tyrone Woodley and say, this guy's got. I mean, he is going to maul him. People are sleeping on. I'm going to tell you this right now.
Say it.
There's a reason why Dana White keeps shooting down any notion at all, at least at this point, of Jake Paul boxing against guys like Conor McGregor.
Right.
People sleep on Jake, and I was guilty of it. I was guilty of it in the very beginning. I said, no, this is YouTube junk. This is ridiculous. If you put somebody who trains boxing, and that's all they train, and he's been putting in a couple of years of work, okay? This isn't just like the guy just shows up once a day or, once a week and hits the bag a couple times till he breaks a sweat. He's putting real work in. If you told me Jake Paul and Conor McGregor were going to box this weekend, I would bet on Jake Paul. I would, as crazy as that sounds, because Conor McGregor is a striker. But I would bet on Jake Paul.
But he's not a boxer.
He's not a boxer.
And I'm of the same frame of mind because it's the same issue like we said before. Bad Bunny being an entertainer going into the WWE universe, he worked so hard. He got the respect of the wrestlers there. They consider him a WWE superstar. A lot of people go in, they don't put the work in, they just show up, don't show no respect for anybody else, and leave. He came in. Logan's doing the same thing. He's putting the work in. He's getting these fights. He's knocking people out. It's like, what else do you want?
Jake Paul's doing that. Logan's 0-1. He's fighting. He's getting the real payday against Floyd Mayweather. The one who's 0-1 is getting the payday.
But it's like when they're showing respect to the sport and they're actively going about it. The J. Cole conversation we had last week, I figure it's the same thing to me. If you put in the work, you're respectful, you get an opportunity, you go along with it.
Well, Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, he's fighting on that card this weekend.
Yeah.
By the way, I will be in attendance. I will be in attendance.
Oh my gosh, we need coverage. We need some beautiful video from you. I'm so excited for you, man.
I'm excited to be my first ever Floyd Mayweather fight. He's doing it against a guy who's on YouTube.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought, right?
I would have liked to have been there for, I don't know, him against Juan Manuel Marquez, him against Manny Pacquiao. No, I'll be there against when he fights against Logan Paul.
A little consolation prize.
Hey, listen, The good news, I think it'll last a little bit. Okay,
that's it. They're gonna milk that cow for as much as possible.
Hey, coming up on the other side of the break, I believe we've got the sound off coming up next. Stick around. You are listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
Open Mic with Mike Bianchi.
Skill level that he has is certainly
for the Boston Celtics in Game 1 against the Nets. And Aaron Gordon with the Nuggets is just okay. He's just another player on the floor. And if I'm Jeff Weltman and John Hammond, I'm sitting back and I'm like, oh, we won that trade.
In the Zone, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on FM 96.9 The Game. If you're hooked up with Alexa, yeah, you're hooked up with us. Just say, play 96.9 The Game on iHeartRadio.
That's right, folks. Time for the sound off for today, man. We had a long weekend, a lot of great stuff going on in the world of sports, and we're here to break it down one sound clip at a time. Let's do it.
Sound off. Sound off.
You know, we're fortunate nobody got hurt, and you know the security did his job. He did a hell of a job getting them down, getting them out of there. So you know we don't need that. We don't need that in our atmosphere. You know, let's just play. Let's play the game we've been out here to play and enjoy it, and everybody can go home safe.
I didn't even see it. I was in the back, but when I was walking out, I didn't know what happened. You know, as fans, my advice is just watch the game, enjoy it. Obviously, COVID, nobody's kind of been at games or been at arenas, but we got to make sure we be mindful of this is our job. You know, this is not a game or something. You can just kind of just do whatever you want to do and run around.
As both Bradley Beal and Russ talking about this fan running onto the court last night in the 76ers game, man. Listen, this whole situation, we discussed it earlier. Fans are going crazy, Adam. I don't know what's in the water, if this whole not being in front of people due to COVID for a year has something to do with it, but it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you know, being a soccer fan, you see sometimes over in Europe, depending on, you know, sort of the transgressions of the fans, you know, if it's racial abuse, if it's, other things. One, you deal with the fan individually. You know, I think now, you know, taking the steps to say, listen, we're going to prosecute. I mean, there's places where you go, hey, listen, if you know, businesses that have a sign on the wall that says shoplifters will be prosecuted. This is not one of those things that you just, you know, hope to get a slap on the wrist by the manager of the store and don't ever do this again. No. We're going to prosecute to the full extent of the law. So if you interrupt our game, if you put our athletes in jeopardy, if you put the security guard could have blown out his ACL trying to tackle that guy as he's rushing out on the court because you don't know, you know, what he's got, you know, in his pocket. You don't know what his intentions at that moment are. One, deal with the fan individually. And if it continues to be a problem, the NBA needs to step in like they do in Europe sometimes with soccer communities, say, you're going to play your next 3 games with no fans in the building.
Oh.
Punish everybody. You know, you ever had that happen? Listen.
That might be the thing to occur that might switch things around.
Well, what'll happen is fans who pay for these season tickets, and they see their buddy next to him has had too many drinks, go, I'm running out on the court. They're going, no, you ain't, because I'm coming next week.
And we mentioned it last week, something like that. You see something, say something.
Yeah, a little bit more discipline from our pro franchises for unruly fan behavior.
What are the odds that it continues to happen in this first round?
It's always, yes, of course.
Ridiculous.
Sound off. Yeah, the only record I have my eyesight on breaking, which it'd be new this year, going 20-0.
Okay.
You know, it's not really a record to be broken, I guess you'd say, but I think 19-0 is the record right now. So being able to go 20-0, be the first one to do that, that'd be awesome.
It's Patrick Mahomes aiming high this coming season. The only thing that he wants to accomplish, if possible, is going 20-0. Adam, is that how he feels?
Yeah, that's how he feels.
That's the only thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess if you go 20-0, any of the other goals that you had this year will be accomplished, okay? Because it means you will have won the Super Bowl. You've won every game you played. And if your goals are all team-related, not individually related, if his goals, like, I want to be the MVP, I want to throw for 65 touchdowns this year, those are individual goals. The guy's saying, listen, I got one goal, and that's to win every single game for my team. Love Patrick Mahomes, but I think the record's 17-0, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, 17-0. That's the Dolphins, right? Back in 72. And then it was the Patriots that had a chance at 19-0.
And then the Giants came.
The New York Giants. David Tyree makes a catch.
Aren't they trying to switch the scheduling up a little bit?
Well, they've added an extra game. That's why he's saying it's a new record to be broken. It's because they've added the extra game this year. So he'll have to go 20-0 when you include the playoff run.
I tore my groin on Christmas Day in Golden State. and rehab until I was able to get back on the floor, and still wasn't where I was before I tore it. My first year with the Lakers, I worked my tail off in the off season, just to get back to playing at unrestricted level. So I can only speak from my experience. I'm not, like I said, I don't know the severity of his injury.
LeBron James saying, still recovering from that groin injury. Now AD goes down. We don't know the extent of it yet, but they're saying that he's probably not going to play this next game. How's this going to affect the Lakers moving forward, Adam?
Well, we see how it affects the Lakers. I mean, without AD there, LeBron is still LeBron, but LeBron can't carry this team to the NBA Finals at, how old's LeBron now?
32? 33?
33? God, it feels like he's older than that.
Let's see, 35 maybe?
Maybe, who knows? But, obviously there's a lot.
I'm thinking of Steph for some reason.
Okay.
Steph is like 33. LeBron is 36.
Yeah, 36. And he's got more miles on his 36-year-old body than any other athlete on the face of this planet, because you think about all the deep playoff runs, all the physicality, all the things that he's dealt with. He can't do it. And I love LeBron. I am a LeBron guy, but I'm saying this. Without the B side for LeBron, he can't make that run to the NBA Finals. Cannot do it. Cannot do it at this age. And with the wear and tear on his body, and without anybody else on that team stepping up. There's guys on that team that I look at and go, God, I thought he was going to be better. The Schroeder.
Yeah. You did say that. Yep.
I thought he was going to be so much better, but he's not.
Kuzma.
Yeah. People
he's
were waiting
always
around.
just.
Dude, he's the Los Angeles Lakers version equivalent to Aaron Gordon. Like that guy that you see like once every 5 or 6 games, gives you that night that you go, this is what I'm talking about. This is the guy he can be. Never going to be that guy. And so LeBron needs the B side. So he needs this groin injury for Anthony Davis to not be as bad as what he suffered, because without Davis throughout the playoffs, they're not going to advance to the NBA Finals.
Well, that's goes without saying, but when he first injured that ankle and he was coming back, I remember going into the playoffs or going from the play-in to the playoffs, we had a poll asking, do you guys want to see the Lakers in the playoffs? And a lot of people said no due to them hating the Lakers, but I said no because of that, man. I just don't think, like you said, the mileage that's on him, the ankle, as he said, will never be 100%. So him carrying the load by himself, he needs his Robin to his Batman. And now that he's down, we still don't have the timeline, as we said before, but he's going to be out this next game. It's going to be tough.
I mean, can he get past this? And again, here's the part that you almost got to check yourself. Phoenix is the 2 seed. Mm-hmm. Phoenix was the better team all year long. Now, granted, Anthony Davis missed a lot of the season, and then LeBron missed a big chunk of the season, so that played into the fact that the Lakers had to play into the playoffs. But they're they're a good team. The Lakers can't. That's 2-2 in that series.
Yeah.
Without if Davis doesn't play another game,
the reason why they're 2-2 is because of Anthony Davis play.
He played like crap in game number one, and in game number 4 he gets hurt and can't play in the second half. Yeah. Without him, dare I say they won't beat Phoenix in a 7-game series, which is scary to think of. But LeBron could take an early exit from the playoffs.
Sound off. It kind of started yesterday. Like yesterday, I just woke up and I was really depressed, but I don't know why.
With your tournament over and, getting to have a break now, what's the first thing on your mind that you want to do?
Nothing.
Just nothing?
Yeah. I was able to win 2 matches, but I feel like that doesn't really say I can play well on clay. It's more, I think, I'm just an okay player that was able to play okay. I'm so sad right now.
It's a clip from Naomi Osaka back in 2018 in a post-game conference talking about exactly what's going on now. She didn't want to play. Speak to the media after over at the French Open, and she says she'll take whatever fine comes with it as long as, there's an opportunity to put that towards mental health, awareness, something like that. And now, they tell her that it's going to continue to go on, so she decides not to, play in the French Open, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of surprising news to me this weekend that she withdrew. I mean, I knew her statement early on before the tournament started that she was going to sort of pull herself away from the media obligations and that she hopes that any fines that she accrues will go towards a mental health awareness. But then the French Open and all the other Grand Slam events even pushed harder on somebody. When you listen to that audio, when somebody just says, "I'm just sad,"
she sounds defeated.
No,
she sounds lethargic.
depressed. She sounds depressed.
Yeah,
she sounds depressed, and I think that sometimes we discount that in athletes because you're just sad about it. We don't know what they're going through behind closed doors. And I think maybe we should have a little bit more respect for it. I get it that these players make a lot of money, okay? These athletes make a lot of cash, and you think that money would solve all the problems in your life. Like your life would be hunky-dory if you had the kind of scratch that these athletes have. It may not be like that. We've been discussing it, and we have a Twitter supplemental poll on it with Naomi Osaka pulling out of the French Open to deal with her mental health. Should speaking to media be considered, quote, part of the job? Yes or no? UCF Rye off of Twitter said that for amateurs, no. For pros, yes. Sponsors spend a lot of money for their players to be camera forward.
We have another one on the text line over here. Let me find it real quick. Take the Lynch approach. I'm here so I just don't get fined. Also, it's simple. It's in the rules. You can't follow the rules, then don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the answer, is to make a mockery of it the way Marshawn Lynch did. Just show up and give one-word answers. Bill Belichick-style answers. Marshawn Lynch answers. To me, if I were a media member, I'd rather not waste my time with that and find somebody who's willing to answer the questions. But if that's going to be the compromise, okay, fine, you got to show up. I can't control what you say, clearly. Yep. I mean, now we're really crossing a line. But if you got to stand there and just go, yes, no, maybe. No. That's it.
That's the sound off for today, ladies and gentlemen. Adam, what do we have coming up next segment, brother?
Coming up, we'll get back into LeBron James. LeBron James had some comments about Orlando and his time spent here in the bubble and whether or not he would enjoy returning here as a free agent. Are those statements valid in regards to the City Beautiful and the Magic organization, or is it just a guy who didn't enjoy being locked away in the bubble? We'll discuss that and more. Sticking around. You are listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Yeah. More Open Mic in minutes.
pitch to the warning track to the wall, and it's in the hedges.
All right, 7:36 back on Open Mic. Adam Reardon, Kelly Velez with you here on this Tuesday morning after an extended weekend, three-day weekend.
Listen, when I realized it was Tuesday and not a Monday,
I say this every time. People really enjoy a three-day weekend. But the best part of a three-day weekend is the four-day work week, which follows it. Because then that weekend jumps on you real quick. You're like, wait a minute, what?
We're back here?
We're already back to the weekend.
And also, I feel like, those vacations when you need a vacation after the vacation?
Yeah, Memorial Day is one of those.
That's how I feel like about this one. Like, we got back from Daytona. We spent the whole weekend there, got back yesterday around like 5 p.m., just laid up the whole time.
Yeah, because you're out there in the sun, and sun just saps you of the energy. Yeah, so it'll be nice to get to the weekend here. Just 4 days away, my man, not 5. That's nice. Hey, we talked a little bit earlier in the show about LeBron James. He was in the shop with Maverick Carter on HBO, and Bad Bunny was in there as well. Bad Bunny, you may know him as an entertainer / now wrestler, I guess. He
does his thing, man. Man wears many hats.
There you go. So they started discussing being in Orlando because Bad Bunny said he moved from Puerto Rico to Orlando to accommodate his wrestling ventures there. And from there, I think Maverick Carter and LeBron started commenting about their time in Orlando in the NBA bubble and whether or not they would return as free agents.
He moved to Orlando. Put his career. I don't want to visit Orlando.
No. Disrespect. Yeah. And that's part of the reason I haven't taken my daughter to Disney World, because I had to go to you guys understand. Anytime I hear Orlando right now, I get PTSD. I was in a bubble.
So Orlando has no chance in free agency?
They have no chance.
What if you get traded to Orlando?
I'm not going.
I'm just retiring.
It's over. It's over. Yeah, LeBron has been traded to Orlando. LeBron lives in Malibu.
Don't say it like that, LeBron. What you mean?
Humble brag, he lives in Malibu. Okay, so the first time I heard it, it sounded like really disrespectful. It sounded really, really like just ugly towards the city of Orlando and or the Magic frame. I couldn't tell who he was more ripping. But you're right. You brought it up. And he mentions it there. I was in the bubble and I have PTSD. Like just the thought of being in Orlando to him takes him back to the time in the bubble where he couldn't see his family, couldn't.
Yep.
And so for him, Orlando just has this negative connotation to it.
Listen, I'm sure we all have some sort of situation that happened outside of your city, and you went to one place one time, you're like, I'm never going back. This happened. It may have been something so minor, but it affected you so much that anytime someone even brings it up, you're just like, no. That's like the first time you drink or whatever, you get super, super crazy. It's like whatever was the first drink to really get you over, you're like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, if first time you had tequila, you had a bad night with it. You know what you never want to do? Tequila ever again. Somebody mentions like, hey, we're going to do shots of tequila. And you're like, oh, no, PTSD. No, I don't have that.
I enjoy the drink. I enjoy my liquor. And Bacardi Raz, to this day. Ain't going to do it.
So for me,
because I had that experience.
You know what it is for me, honestly, is to this day, I won't. What's the cinema? Oh, Fireball.
Fireball will do it.
Oh, yeah. Like if you have one bad night with Fireball, which to me, this stuff was so sweet, and you had to drink so much of it because it's like a lower liquor content, lower
percentage.
Yeah, that I felt like afterward I had like a bad stomach ache, and it was a negative experience. So to this day, when people are like, "Oh, we got Fireball in the freezer," I'm like, "Well, keep it there."
You know that feeling you felt in your stomach? Yeah. That's how LeBron felt as soon as he heard Orlando. All right.
So I originally thought that this was all about Orlando, but I will say this, that we never discuss Orlando as a landing spot for free agents in the NBA. Now, we posted something, obviously we post on our Facebook page, but Mervin Miguel responded, said that Orlando has shown in the past it has what it takes to attract star free agents. That's way back when. That was the Grant Hill
Right.
You know, when Grant Hill ended up here, and then Tracy McGrady, I think, as well. Now, Tracy part of a trade?
A trade, yeah.
So, like, as far as
remember we were having that discussion about bringing Tim Duncan over. It was around that same time,
right? It was around that same time. And so I guess Grant Hill's the last guy that people looked up and went like, "Hey, here's a superstar in the NBA, and we're going to sign him. He wants to come to Orlando."
Yeah.
But since then, you don't get that.
Crickets.
As a matter of fact, Orlando's been fortunate enough to like land superstars in the draft. I mean, to get the number 1 overall pick, and those players go elsewhere. Look for larger markets, maybe better opportunities to expand their brand, not just nationally but worldwide. You and I had a chance to talk a little bit about guys like Giannis. We played a couple of Giannis clips the other day, and I'll be honest that it took about 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds for me to go, oh, that must be Giannis.
Right.
Whereas with Shaq speaks, we know who Shaq is. When LeBron speaks, we know who LeBron. Because their platform, being in those large cities, is much greater than being in like a Milwaukee or an Orlando. I think that's what those athletes, those top end, they think they're going to be worldwide stars, need to be.
Yeah. And over at the text line, you can text us right now, 50857, if you want to, chime in on any conversation that we have each and every day. Somebody said on the text line, with all due respect, Orlando has global reach. The most famous resident is a mouse that draws millions of visitors from all over the world. It's very true. But when it comes to the sports market, I'm not sure exactly how much, unless you have a family, as you said, or you plan on having a family as soon as you get here. What else is there to do?
Yeah.
As we said before.
And here, let me see this. If Orlando had that sort of worldwide appeal and worldwide reach, and maybe Orlando is really good at bringing people in, not great at like projecting stars outward. Maybe that's the. I was thinking about different fixes you could have. Is that because of the part? Doesn't Disney sponsor the Magic? Don't they have their patch? I mean, their little advertising logo here. Is that Disney promises any star free agent their kids their own reality show. So like you could draw in like a Giannis or something, and if they've got kids that are like 7 or 8 years old and they want their own TV show, the Disney Channel will give it to them so they can start their own future.
Listen, you got your own brand, not only doing sports, but you're also doing entertainment.
Yeah, but you do it for the kids, and then maybe the kids, because listen, we all buy cereal based on what it is the kids want, right?
It's true.
Our kids don't like to eat Total, but we end up with Frosted Flakes at the house. That's what we end up with.
So we're not talking about the superstar no more, just your family. Yeah, it's cool. Come on.
But yeah, sometimes that's what you got to do to draw the superstar. That's what you got to do. Speaking of superstars, we will be joined by the superstar of the show. Mike Bianchi will join us from. See, even Mike had to go from Orlando to New York City. Even Mike had to go. Mike went from Orlando to New York City.
Oh man. Hollywood.
That's where we will reach him. Coming up next, you are listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
What does Mike Bianchi and the next commercial break have in common? They're both short.
Now listen.
the iHeartRadio app, and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
All right, 7:52 back on Open Mic. Adam Reardon, Kelly Velez. It wouldn't be Open Mic without Mike. Mike Bianchi from the Big Apple. Mike, good morning. How are you?
Coming to you from the Brooklyn Sheraton in downtown Brooklyn with a homeless shelter they've opened right next door. Some interesting people.
Welcome to New York, Mike.
Out in front of the Brooklyn.
Welcome to New York.
The good news is lunch will be served at 12 if you want to roll up. I will say this. Depending on the wardrobe you brought in there, you may slide right in. You may fit right in. Look at this guy. He's got a 1994 Final Four shirt on. Give him 2 helpings.
Although we went to Coney Island yesterday, there was so Nathan's, the original Nathan's in Coney Island. So it was Memorial Day, obviously, and there was a huge line in front of Nathan's. But there was a TV station out there giving out free hot dogs. All right, welcome back, New York. Sort of welcome back after the pandemic. So of course the Bulldog being cheap, I stood in line there and got my 2 free hot dogs.
As opposed to being in New York I'm here in Coney Island. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in New York, do as the New Yorkers do and get a Nathan. What kind of hot dog? Those are just regular old, store-bought?
Yeah, store-bought chicken, probably chicken dogs. Probably not even all beef, yeah.
The with rib meat. Whatever rib meat is, it's in there. It's in there.
I did get the Nathan's chili dog as well.
There you go. All right, there you go. So you're enjoying time. It is graduation season. I went to a couple of graduation events for for Trina's daughter who graduated the 8th grade. And I asked a question earlier to the listeners. Mike, I'll get your opinion on it. At what age and at what level should we be celebrating graduations? Because they have kindergarten graduation, 5th grade graduation, 8th grade. Are there any? Is there a risk that these kids aren't going to graduate kindergarten? Is this something we need to be playing the music?
I don't agree with all the different graduations. I think high school graduations. I'm old school. High school graduations, and I'm up here because my daughter is graduating from college, even though they're not having a ceremony up here because we're in New York. But no, high school and college. You shouldn't have to go out and buy I went out and bought a graduation card for my daughter. It was $9. You shouldn't have to buy that for a kindergarten graduation.
Listen, I bought you a graduation card. You can't even read it. Why am I buying this? Why am I having to buy listen, you know what they recognize? They recognize that Amazon card on the inside, though. They know what that is.
As soon as they see it, I know this.
I'm going to get Roblox. I can't wait. Cannot wait for this.
By the way, the one thing I do love about New York, though, is people walk. There aren't that many fat people in New York because people walk. They walk, they get off the subway and they walk, a mile to where they have to go or half a mile. It's actually good for you to walk.
No, I loved being in New York because it was hey, I'm going to go here. And you're kind of map quest a little bit and you realize, it's a mile and a half. And normally at my house, walking, we're I'll just take the golf cart. No.
By the way, MapQuest, super throwback. I like that. But that's still a gripe for me. To this day, in Florida, we'll park probably 2 New York blocks away. People are it's too far. I'm if you don't get out this car
that's right.
and walk, I swear to you, we're out of here.
That's me. We take the golf cart.
There's a Target. There's a Target like right down from our hotel. So, I wanted to buy some beer to put in the fridge and stuff. So I'm like lugging back like, 2 12-packs of beer and like all these other groceries, lugging it like, half a mile. That's what people do in New York. They just go to they walk to the grocery store and lug their groceries back.
Mike, you just explained my mother's experience back, when she was a single. That's probably your mother's experience. What are you talking about? Having to lug the groceries. I mean, come on, Mike. That's
the
a
thing
throwback.
that sucks. That's such a real thing, and you got to get on the train or the bus if you don't have a car and you have all these groceries. Oh my Lord, Mike!
I will say that
we were such white trash back in the day. We lived near a Winn-Dixie, all right? And my mom, would just take the cart, just cart it home and have it there.
That manager Winn-Dixie was doing inventory like every 6 months, going, we're missing 6 carts. But you and your siblings had the greatest fort ever, though. It's like we've got a fort with an actual jail in it. It's 6 Winn-Dixie carts.
Oh wow!
So Mike, obviously you being in New York, you got a lot of family stuff going on. Are you keeping up with the world of sports while you're up there?
Oh, I get up every morning and read the Orlando Sentinel. Read ESPN. Yeah, I love getting up in the morning, having coffee, and reading the sports page. Even though I don't read it, literally now, I read it online. But yeah, it's still one of my traditions.
Well, we were talking a little bit about your Rays win a big one against the Yankees. Probably a lot of sad faces around New York right now because the Rays are clearly the face of the American League East now, and your Rays knocked off Kelly Velez's Yankees yesterday 2-1. How'd you feel about that?
Well, I felt good. The Rays won 16 of their last 17 now.
Just the Royals tripped them up for like a split second there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what the Rays are doing. And again, to see the Yankees struggling again, what are they? Are they like 5.5, 6 back on my Rays now?
Yeah, 6 back, it looks like. 5.5.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit about that. That was Austin Meadows hit his 12th home run of the year. And Rich Hill, 5 shutout innings on the mound for the for the Tampa Bay Rays against the New York Yankees yesterday. What
about the old pitcher for the Rays? Old Mr. Hill. What is he like? Is he like Rich Hill's like? What is he? 41 years old or something?
I didn't realize he was that old, but I'm looking at the box score, right? Because I'm looking at the score from the weekend, and I'm like looking, and I'm going, man, if this guy pitched 5 innings and no runs, why are they pulling him out? Oh, well, maybe he's because he's 40. He's like, that's all I got. I've got 5 innings. That's all I've got in me. I'm 40 years old. Take me out, coach.
Yeah, this guy has. I think there's some record he set yesterday. I don't know what it was, but he's like the oldest player in history to do something. I don't know what the stat was.
Great stat, Mike.
He's just the oldest guy in history. Oldest guy in history. That's it.
41 years old, oldest player in Rays history. Didn't throw a single pitch that broke 90 against the Yankees. But still, I mean, he's 3-0 with a 2.04 ERA. He's incredible.
Wait, time out. So this guy doesn't break 90, and all the money that the Yankees spend on hitting, you guys couldn't hit this guy? That's batting practice. That's batting practice.
Listen, man, the offense is out from the MLB. We've been talking about it for the past 2 weeks, man.
We got to get him. We got to get the Yankees to do what, Mike? Swing level, run like the devil.
Absolutely. I got to tell you what, the year of the old guy, though, Rich Hill, Brady, Phil Mickelson, the guy who won the Indy 500, Castro Neves, how old is he, 46, I think?
It's funny you bring up the Indy 500 because that's right, Memorial Day weekend. Don't you remember, Mike, and here's a couple of old guys reminiscing on history. You remember when the Indy 500 was a big deal in this country?
Yeah, it's sort of followed the same line as, the Kentucky Derby. I mean, the Kentucky Derby, yeah, that used to be must-watch TV. And the Kentucky Derby, I still think, is more must-watch TV than the Indy 500. But, yeah, the Indy 500 used to be a tradition on Memorial Day weekend. you wouldn't watch it all, but you'd sit down and watch some of the Indy 500, and now it's like an afterthought. And a lot of that is because NASCAR sort of usurped Indy as the, people who watch car racing now, they probably tend to watch NASCAR more than IndyCar. I
remember when I was younger, the days of Al Unser Jr. and Bobby Rahal. I literally used to watch the Indy 500. Now, I found out that the Indy 500 had happened. That's literally like, wait, it happened? I didn't know. I totally forgot. And I blame COVID this year on not paying attention to the Kentucky Derby. At least when the Kentucky Derby starts rolling around during normal times, we all kind of go, all right, it's a cool gambling experience. We'll watch for 2 minutes the first Saturday in May. I'm there for it. But this year it snuck up on me. Can't lie. I was like, I'm sitting in a hotel room going, wait a minute, the Kentucky Derby's today? Unbelievable. Not even a place where I could place a bet. Let's take 10 seconds for legal identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. We are football. We are FM 96.9, The Game.
You feel that?
I can feel it.
We're about to blast off.
Just hook it to my veins!
It's time for the blast.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, The Blast, brought to you by Frank Gay Services. When you have a plumbing or electrical problem, you need help now. Go to frankgayservices.com. Open mic thought-provoking daily poll. How do you feel about LeBron's comments toward Orlando, along with him saying they have no chance at winning in free agency? Respect his honesty, feel disrespected, or don't care, Adam?
I would say, knowing what we know now, I would say don't care. Okay,
I feel like that happens a lot with these polls, by the way. We get a little more context. We're like,
yeah, listen, LeBron was stuck in the bubble. And so it may not be about Orlando, the city as a whole. May not even be about the franchise that he'd never want to play for the Magic. It's just, being locked away from your family. Basically, it's like being in prison here.
Yes.
He was in prison. He was in basketball prison, and he decides, hey, that place where the prison was, I don't ever want to go back there ever again. Who could blame the guy? Who could blame him? So now I think you should not care. I felt a different way this morning, but kind of got talked into not caring.
What are the choices again?
It's respect his honesty, feel disrespected, or don't care.
No, I feel disrespected. Adam says he was in the bubble, and he felt like he was in prison. He grew up in prison, all right? He grew up in Cleveland, all right?
Oh, my.
Akron.
Cleveland is prison.
There we go.
He spent his whole life in prison. Akron, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. Are you telling me I'd rather be in the bubble in Disney than grow up in Cleveland or Akron, okay?
I don't know. I saw some of those dinner plates they were serving up in the bubble. It was like a ham sandwich and stuff like that. No. Listen, at least in Akron, you could go to any restaurant you want and get a free meal.
Yeah, staying at 5-star hotels. Oh, I have to eat their catered box lunch at the Four Seasons. Oh, at the Ritz. Give me a break.
With 67% of the vote, people said don't care. I was kind of surprised by that. I thought people would be more triggered. Like Mike.
He was just joking, though.
Yeah.
No, I think he was having a little fun at Orlando's expense.
Yeah. Okay.
But just him saying that does a little something, it is what it is. All right. Open mic supplemental poll number 1.
No chance. LeBron lives in Malibu.
That's it. Naomi Osaka has pulled out of the French Open to deal with her mental health. Should speaking to the media be considered, quote unquote, part of the job? Yes or no?
Oh, you know my feelings on this. Yeah, I think it should be part of the job. So, first of all, what sort of media are we talking about? Because, there are some media, like the TV networks, they're the media. ESPN's the media. Fox is the media. They pay a lot of money to televise these sporting events, and part of the money they pay is they want to have access to the athletes, both before the matches or games and after the matches and games. So, if you're paying money, obviously you should have access to the athletes. And, sports fans are interested in the details of the games and the matches. I'm thinking about the Super Bowl back when the Seahawks lost to the Patriots and they had the stupid call where they didn't give the ball to
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, they didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, and they end up losing the game on the interception at the goal line. Can you imagine if, like, Pete Carroll said, "Oh, I don't want to talk to the media afterwards." Well, the media is just a conduit to the fans. So the fans want to know why Pete Carroll made that call. So no, I think again, if you're having some mental issues, obviously that's a different line of questioning. But I don't think just interviewing with the media for 10 minutes after a game is too much to ask.
See, I don't think it should be part of the job. I think that if people want to participate in it, they should. And if they don't feel like participating, they shouldn't. Otherwise, you'll end up with a mockery of the whole thing. Eventually, everybody who doesn't want to be there will show up and like Marshawn Lynch and say, listen, I'm here just so I don't get fined. That'll be the answer to every question from this point forward. And I don't want to see writers waste their time with it, and I don't want to see the athletes who don't want to be there waste their time with it and make a mockery of it. There's going to be plenty of people that are willing to talk, willing to get in front of the camera, willing to have their quote written, that I don't think the people who don't want to do it should be forced to do it.
Right.
What about coaches? Should they be forced?
I figure it should be the same for coaches.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically, if I say yes for the players or say no for the player, I have to say no for the coaches too. But I do feel like it's a little different. But then that's me being a hypocrite.
See, with 57% of the vote, they said yes, it should be part of the job. Open mic supplement
surprises me because most people are anti-media.
Yeah. I think after Oprah does an interview, she should have to hit like 5 of 10 from 3-point range afterwards, and then discuss it. Yeah.
Open mic supplemental poll number 2, with another incident involving an NBA fan occurring last night during the Wizards and the 76ers game. Has the unruly behavior of fans at sporting events reached an all-time high? Yes or no? Adam.
Yeah, yes, it's at a high, but it's counterintuitive to what you would think because we have so many cameras, you can't get away with anything now. It's impossible to get. But as you mentioned, maybe these are people that have weighed it out in their mind and go, going viral today is more beneficial than going to jail for the night would be negative in my life. And screw it, guys, I'm going for it. Put me on Instagram. Here I go. Maybe that's the idea. That's the plan. But these people that are throwing water bottles at athletes, throwing things, throwing around racial slurs and insults, we got to do something to remedy this. And again, I said earlier in the show, and we go back like a week and a half. We talked about what happening at the PGA Championship. Mm-hmm. Two totally different things. People that are there, like being a part of it, versus people that are trying to interrupt it, are two totally different things to me. I don't want to lump them all together. I know that they will get lumped together, but what we're seeing now from athletes or from fans towards athletes in this negative environment, to me, cannot be tolerated, and they need to start pressing charges, and letting fans know anything that you do like this, we will pursue the full extent of the law, like what happened in was that New Jersey?
Which is the last one?
When they threw the water bottle.
Oh, no, yeah.
Actually, in Boston.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston. They're going to arrest that guy, and then apparently this one as well.
No, I don't. What's the options again?
It's yes or no. Is the unruly behavior of fans at sporting events reach an all-time high?
No, I don't think it's at an all-time high. I mean, the incident yesterday, the fan essentially just ran out on the court, and what did he do? Slap the backboard, and we've had that happening for years. Fans running out on the field. I remember back in the I think it was the 70s where some fan ran out on the field and the Colts linebacker Mike Curtis clotheslined the fan. No, I don't think it's at an all-time high. I was walking through Coney Island yesterday, and they walked through the minor league baseball park, and they had a statue of Pee Wee Reese and Jackie Robinson, I guess, who used to play in that ballpark, and they told the story of how Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier and Pee Wee Reese sort of stood behind him and supported him. Can you imagine if they'd had cell phone cameras and videos back when Jackie Robinson played, what sort of racial slurs he had to endure? So no, I don't think today is it might be at a modern all-time high, but no, it's not at an all-time high as far as how fans act at ball games. We just see it more because it's on video.
I see what you say there. With 64% of the vote, absolutely yes, it has reached an all-time high. Open mic supplemental poll number 3. If you're a Jags fan, does their involvement with the wrestling organization AEW make you either more excited for the season, make you cringe, or does it matter? Mike.
I I saw the video of Urban Meyer and Charlie Strong during that wrestling tape for AEW. First of all, Tony Khan, the Shad Khan's son, owns AEW, I believe, or at least he's a part owner of AEW. So I think it creates interest. I thought the video was funny of Urban Meyer and Charlie Strong sitting there watching these two wrestlers go at it and handing them. Urban Meyer handed the guy, one of the wrestlers, his laptop computer, and he busted over the head of the other wrestler. I thought it was funny. It makes Urban Meyer more human to me. So I love it.
It made me cringe, and it actually made me think of, as we learned that Tony Khan was the owner of the AEW. This is sort of like the movie The Toy with Jackie Gleason. Is Urban Meyer now Tony Khan's toy because Shad Khan purchased him?
See, maybe it. See, with 54% of the vote, doesn't matter. I'm kind of surprised at that as well. 31%. The second vote was make you cringe. Open mic supplemental poll number 4 with the unclassified report about UFOs due to be released to the public today. Do you think we'll find out that we've been visited by alien life? Yes, we've been visited, or no? It's nonsense, Adam.
Oh, this is like so simple. The answer is yes. There's definitely alien life. There are some people from out of this world on this planet. There's no question, no question in my mind.
Yeah, like the sports fans that are being kicked out of arenas, they're actually aliens. Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know if they're going to find that we've been visited by alien life, but I think there's going to be some questions. I do have this question. The universe is vast and huge, right? Why would they? Did they just pick out Earth as a place to visit? How would they know that there's actual people on Earth unless they have some sort of, special science where they can detect life, light years away? So
maybe they're that advanced.
See, that's something. With 63% of the vote, yes, we have been visited. And the last one, open mic, would you rather poll? Would you rather spend some time or spend some much needed on our time at a beach or pool? It could be public or private.
Go. Beach. I changed my mind to pool. I don't like sand in my pants. I'm gonna go pool.
What about you, Mike?
Does the beach have one of those little showers that you can shower off after?
Yes, Mike.
You can never get all the sand out with that shower.
Yeah, I'd rather spend time at the beach. I mean, it's relaxing. A pool is fine after the beach, but the beach is the main part of the vacation, in my opinion.
Salt water in the eyes.
That's a beautiful part, man. 68% of our audience said yes, a beach. You already know that's the blast. Brought to you by Frank Gay Services. A live operator is waiting for you, and a licensed plumber is ready to help today with the solution to your problem fast. That's the Frank Gay way. FrankGayServices.com.
I almost called Mike Frank Gay. Mike, whatever you got planned for the day, enjoy it, my friend, with your daughter. And what is planned? You have something special?
Not really anything special today. We're going to go out to dinner later.
Nice. Well, enjoy dinner, my friend. Enjoy it, and then we'll talk to you tomorrow around the same time, right?
Yeah. See you guys tomorrow.
I appreciate it. Mike Bianchi up in the Big Apple. See, I mean, guys go from Orlando to these larger markets. There's stars out there. Maybe Mike goes in there with reading the Orlando Sentinel. The guy goes, "Isn't that your picture on there?" It is, in fact. The guy picks up his tab. Hey, coming up on the other side of the break, something that happened over the weekend that I'm sad about, but I think that there's a moment that we should be proud about as a country. Or should we? ? I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Coming up next, you're listening to Open Mic right here on The Game.
More Open Mic up next.
Coward. Wrong.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine 96.
only game in town.
Back on Open Mic. Adam Reardon, Kelly Velez with you. 96.9 The Game. Probably the most important, at least sports viewing for me this weekend, and maybe for other soccer fans in our area, was the Champions League final, which happened, which is sort of the Super Bowl of club soccer around the world.
Well, you're the one that brought it up to me because I've heard of it. I know what it is, right? And, of course, I'm not like the biggest soccer person, football person, but, you know, going into it, understanding all the people around me who do watch it started to chirp around as well. After the conversation we had, I was like, oh, so it's going down this weekend.
It's a really big deal. And then this year happened to feature two teams from England, Manchester City, who won the Premiership, and then Chelsea, who, you know, I think got into the Champions League. They squeezed into the Champions League in the last week of the season. So both teams were secure, but they're playing for the title, which is as prestigious a championship as you can win in sports. The World Cup's different. It's like for your country. It happens once every 4 years. So people in soccer, when talking about soccer, they'll talk about the World Cup. This is for your club team. And it was a really big deal. So I watched. I'm a Manchester City fan. They end up losing 1-0 to Chelsea. So credit and congratulations go to Chelsea and the Blues.
The way you said it, that's why I did it for you. That's why I did it for you.
I didn't ask for all that, though.
So credit goes to Chelsea.
Listen, I mean, they scored a goal and we didn't. That's how this game, that's how they tallied the score in this game. But something that as a country that we can sort of get behind, Christian Pulisic was the first male American soccer player to play in a Champions League final, which is something we should be proud of. And, you know, he came in as a sub and had an impact in the game, almost scored a goal, as a matter of fact, almost put them up 2-0, which would have been the absolute, nail in the coffin. But he's been good for them all year when healthy. And he's been clearly our best player, maybe ever. I mean, some people may make the case for Landon Donovan, at his best, but I mean, Pulisic's highest level has been greater than any other player we've ever seen from an American. And his appearance in the Champions League final just is another tick on the resume. And as I say, we should be proud as a country that, hey, look, the first ever male. I don't know if that's part, like, we should be proud or we should look at it and go, well, what the hell took so long? Should we be embarrassed that it took this long? Mm-hmm. When you think about all the countries in the world and all the Champions League ever played, and all, is it not just a terrible indictment of the soccer program of this country that this, in 2021, we've made every World Cup, with the exception of the last one, with the exception of what's this one coming up, I believe, or the last one. My brain's screwy. My brain's screwy. From 1990 on, right? We've only missed one goal. So we've done well enough on the internet, but not well enough to develop individual talent to end up on these top teams in Europe playing at the highest level.
Yeah.
And that to me was a little bit surprising.
Absolutely.
A little bit surprising that this was going to be there. I mean, I say surprising. I knew it, but it should be a number that, in fact, though we're proud of, say, hey, look, it's our first. We could turn and look at ourselves and go, but wait a minute, why did it take so long?
Yeah.
What have we been doing wrong? And you brought up an interesting point, and sort of the youth sports mechanism or machine in this country and how it's starting to change. And we're seeing it with basketball now. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing it with soccer, with these kids, ending up at these academies and whatnot and doing it the way the rest of the world used to do it, or still do it. Still does it, excuse me. We, as opposed to what our model used to always be, was use youth sports to get to college and then shake it out to see if you can go pro. Well, at the soccer level, that clearly has never worked. to create the highest level of player. Basketball, it used to work, but then the best players were one-and-done guys or guys straight to high school guys. And now we're seeing something even different, which is more akin to the soccer model around the world, which is get these guys young in these academies, in these leagues, paying them. They're professionals. They're going to get them their education, but we're going to give them higher level training to help advance them further up the food chain. I always point to a guy like Luka Doncic, who's perfect example of the soccer model around the world working for basketball, and we're seeing that from him.
Because he was molded since he turned pro when he was 13?
13, I think he signed his first ever.
And now he's like 20, if that, and he is playing at an insane level. So you think about it now, if they implement what they're doing at the overtime league over here in the States to soccer, to baseball, it just assimilates throughout the rest of just sports itself. I can definitely see more of us in terms of Americans going over there, because to tell you the truth, like, you tell me if I'm wrong, people would rather play abroad when it comes to soccer than play in the MLS, right? That's usually how it goes.
What's the old? There's levels to this,
right?
And with all due respect to the MLS,
absolutely.
All due respect to the MLS, I mean, playing for Chelsea is way different than playing for.
It's a different pedigree.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no question about it. And I mean, it's why a guy like Daryl DK, who is here in Orlando, had some success here in Orlando. He goes over to, a first division club in, Barnsley, and scores a bunch of goals. And then all of a sudden, and now he's worth $20 million. And people in Europe are looking for that. That's the difference. That's the difference. And now we're talking about Chelsea and what Pulisic has been able to do over there. And he started his career I think at Borussia Dortmund, which is a great club for developing young talent. We actually have another American on that team, a young American, Giovanni Reina, is on that team as well. So hopefully that's the pathway, and it continues to get greater. Though congratulations and credit to Pulisic and Chelsea for winning the Champions League and us having our first American player in the male American player in the Champions League final. That's great.